Hi, my name is Claudia Brumbaugh. I'm a faculty member in the psychology department of Queens College. And in this video, I'll be discussing social psychology, what it is, what social psychologists do, some related fields, and how you might become a social psychologist. Let's get started by defining it. What is this field of psychology? Well, it involves the study of how individuals or group behaviors are influenced by the presence and behavior of others, social processes. And social psychologists study how individuals think about others, influence and relate to one another, and then how these interactions affect issues such as prejudice, romantic attraction, persuasion, friendship, and aggression. So let's go over some examples of what would be studied by a social psychologist. Say that Jane thinks Emily is talking about her behind her back. This would be an example of social psychology. An interesting thing about this example is that it doesn't really matter if Emily is really talking about Jane behind her back. What matters here is that Jane thinks she is. Another example would be Sam. He's a school teacher and he is cheerful and patient around elementary aged children. This is again a social interaction which might allow Sam to be the best teacher he can be. Maybe Erica calls the restaurant server a bad name when she gets her order wrong. Another example of social psychology, perhaps the waiter feels bad, perhaps Erica regrets what she said later on. This all falls under the umbrella of social psychology. And maybe Ted always goes along with the majority opinion when he's in class. This would be a good example of conformity, which is a classic topic within social psychology. Terry follows his boss's orders, even when he disagrees with her. Following orders, obedience, another example of classic social psychology. And then finally, Laura feels safe and secure when she is with her boyfriend. The relationship and the interactions they have are satisfying. So these are all examples of social psychology. You can see that some are positive processes, such as here with Laura and her boyfriend, and some are negative, like when Erica called the server a bad name. So it can range from like happy, nice things to negative things like aggression. Well, what do social psychologists do? Depending on their exact career path, social psychologists will have different roles, but the focus of their work is going to be on social interactions. They might be involved in consulting, evaluating policies, making recommendations to improve the effectiveness of organizations. They might be involved in human resources, where they help businesses find people, interview people, hire people. They might be a political strategist, where they develop political platforms and campaigns. They might be involved in PR, where they communicate with different groups about critical issues. They could be involved in social services, where they assist people in finding resources they need to lead healthy lives. A technology designer, where you might need to have an understanding of how people communicate in order to design appropriate technological tools. They could be in marketing, where they might manage marketing research. Marketing is aimed at getting people to buy goods and services. So here again, we see social psychology. Or they might be a researcher. They might do research for the government, nonprofit agencies, or universities. Some related fields and professions of social psychology include industrial organizational psychology. IO psychology is aimed at making workplaces function well. Personality psychology, which seeks to understand individual differences in thinking, feeling, and behaving. Social work and mental health counseling, where the goal is to help enhance well-being and assist people in meeting their needs. And sociology. Sociologists seek to understand the structure of groups, organizations, and societies. So this is an overview of social psychology. Now, if you're curious about pursuing social psychology as a field and becoming a social psychologist, or perhaps working in one of these professions, here are some things you might do. First of all, while you're at Queens College, you should take courses from our social psychology cluster. Information about this cluster is on our website. Try to gain experience in the field. You might look for paid or research volunteer jobs in these related fields while you're in college. You can contact our social psychology faculty for research opportunities. We do have a few faculty who research topics in social psychology at Queens College. If you're interested in pursuing graduate school, I recommend that you get involved in a research lab, maintain good grades, start making connections with your instructors and with faculty so that you can have recommendation letters when you apply to grad school. If you need to take exams like the GRE, start studying for those. And start looking into different graduate programs. Research the programs to see what might be the best fit for you.